Hello everyone, this is a typical consortium and welcome to our 5th VRoid tutorial series. In this particular video, we're going to be going over doing some adjustments in Blender for our model. Also, as a quick note, because I totally forgot last time, you can download this particular model with the texture that I had made on VRoid Hub. It is just called Vampire Mattress Man. So you can download him if you would like to. He's just chilling, so you can do that. Now, I did reduce some of the textures and stuff when I exported this, but there are some things that you're going to need to know in order to do this. Now, I changed this to kind of a purple hue. This is just because it's just a lot easier to see him. Yeah, let's just blind our eyes while we're at it. So you can do that, or you can just change it to black. You can do whatever it is that you like. However, please do keep in mind that if you change the color to black, there may be some issues as far as lighting, and you kind of want to stay more towards these colors just for now until we actually getting into lighting or seeing. It just makes things easier. So the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we are in object mode here first, because we're looking at all this stuff. Now, there are several different parts to the VRoid model. There's the body, there's the hair and the face that I have on my model. And depending on how you export yours, you may have less, you have more, whatever. But I'm going to go here to the over here to the material panel. You're going to see that I have 3 materials here. Now, there is, if you go over here to the shading panel, there's a bunch of stuff that makes up the shader here, okay? Now, I'm going to make a light for our scene really quick here, and I'm going to explain what basically we're going to be doing. Okay, so I've added a little plane here. This is just a white plane here. Doesn't have any particular material on it. It's typically just like the gray kind of thing that we got here. And I've added here a little cube, and it's purple. And this is a light, color material over here. And I just got a huge spotlight going on. And to kind of show you here how the color affects the world, if you go down to black, it's going to do this. You have this contrast going on here. But if you notice, okay, there's a shadow here, and there's a lot to lighting. And again, we're going to be going over that in other places here. There's also a lot of tutorials on YouTube that you can look up. If you're really all that fascinated right now, you got to do it right now. You can always look that up. But if you notice, this is a toon shader. That means that we're not getting any of the shadows here that we are seeing, like right here. Even though we're getting, the shadow from here, from him, because the object is causing that shadow, we're not getting any of the shading here. So we need to actually change that. And we can do that, it just takes a little bit of time. And that's why I like to reduce the materials, because it just makes it a lot easier to do. Press Shift D, and I'm going to scale this. And here, if we go into the material panel, you can see here there's a material called Material 01. And if I press this button here, the plus, and I press new, I can create a new material. And I can make this, I don't know, an orange color right here. But if you notice, this doesn't apply to this. So if I go from object into edit mode, and I select it, and I go to assign, then suddenly, aha, we have this kind of orange material going on. And this is something that's very important to know, because we're going to be using this a lot. Secondly, The other important thing here, besides press a G and Z for that. Also, you can use Control 4, Control 6, Control 2, and Control 8, as I previously discussed about this, to move the camera. Let's say I'm pressing W and going to subdivide here. Let's say that I want to go in the faces and I want to take a couple of different faces and I want to just give them different colors. You know, here I'm just right clicking and shift to hold to do this, and then I can go to assign, and then it's going to make these, you know, different colors here. And then if I want to do that here, shift or whatever, then I can, this is kind of a small object here, assign this. Alright, so now we've got 3 different materials on this cube here. And that's what we want to be able to have. So then, if we want to select this particular material, we can select that and it will select all of these right here. We can press deselect here. We can select here, deselect, you know, select here, deselect. And then we can press Control plus or Control minus actually to go through and cycle through the faces that we want to select. This applies to these as well. So if you do that, this will make the process that we're going to do a lot easier. It's just a little bit of a pain in the butt to do, but it is worth doing if you're looking to actually make something that's going to work and it's going to look, you know, really good. There's also other improvements that we'll be talking about, and we'll try to keep this, you know, as short as we can. I know the last video was fairly long compared to the other ones, but the techniques that I'm trying to show you are for, you know, anything that you could do in Blender, and they take time, you know, to learn, obviously, and the more that you practice the shortcut keys, the easier it will be for you to learn Blender, because Blender really is a lot about the hotkeys, you know, and so I'll just keep repeating them, and as you keep learning those, you're going to find that Blender becomes a lot easier to learn. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over, we're going to get right clicking on this, we're going to go into the shading panel, and we're going to go set the alpha to pre-multiply. I'm just going to make sure that these are all on pre-multiply just in case. We need to make sure what all the materials are, because we haven't actually looked at them. And to look at them, actually, here we can either go to texture paint, we can go to UV editing as well to look at these, and this will tell us, hey, this is actually what the material looks like. So this material has, you know, the alphas. This is what, you know, the checker is here, and then we can go back and look at these. All you have to do is to just go up here to image, and you can scroll through these images. We'll get more into this as well as the UV layout and stuff like that. We don't want to get too complex yet. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go from object into edit mode actually to make sure that I have the right material selected. So hold on just a moment here. And I'm going to press select over here. I'm going to press H. And I'm just checking these really quick to see what map is on here. And if you notice, you press select here, and this is hide. So if you press Alt H, you'll see that this and this material have these. And if you go back here and then to the UV editing, you'll be able to see. So now we want to start fixing the shading. Now I'm going to go back. I'm not going to click my light. I'm going to take this first over here, this armature and the hair actually first, and go over and using shift, I'm going to move them over here to the mesh. So they're in their own little sphere together. And I'm going to right click here on the body, go into materials, And I know it has like all this stuff. And I'm just gonna erase it so it says skin. And I'm gonna go put hair. And then I'm just gonna put cloth. Alright, so skin, hair, and cloth. Alright. So now there may be multiple materials, there may be multiple things that we're gonna have to do as we go through this. But I just wanted to put these here, and we may need to rename some things. You'll see as we go along. So have that right click, go over to the shading panel. Now there's all this junk in between, and we are gonna go and select that. That's just using the left click and press delete. And apparently I'm selecting all that in there. So now I'm going to take the UV map, I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to press vector here, and again I'm going to go to pre-multiply because apparently that didn't stick, and then I'm going to go to from vector over to texture coordinate UV. Alright, then I'm going to go from color to BDSF. I'm going to type that in. And then I'm going to go to principal, BDSF. And then we're going to take down here the material output. And we're going to go surface. And that's going to restore, yay, restore our blessed materials. Now you notice there will be some issues here. We'll deal with that presently. But first we're going to go over here to the alpha. I'm going to make sure that that is all good. If you scroll out over here just using the mouse wheel, you'll see, hey, this is actually image 3. And that's where you can kind of just scroll in and out just to see, you know, what image, in case you'll want to look through your files here. Now the next part we want to do is actually add our normal map to this. So we're actually going to go over to the UV editing, and you might think to yourself, will it be 4, 5, or 2? And in reality, it's actually 5. And this is because you can see again that these blue colors and everything are here. It's the same UVs. I have them selected here. But you can also just go into texture paint and you can, again, you can say here, hey, does that match up? Why, yes. Yes, it does. So go ahead and press Shift A. Search for your image here. We're going to go ahead and do the normal maps. Go here to your image 5. Make sure your vector. Go over here to UV. Go from color to normal. And you'll go from normal map to strength. Don't just put normal here. Go to the UV map and then go to normal. Then we'll take the strength over here to color. Alright, make sure it says non-color. You also have this. Now also, you want to go in the layout here. Now I've already done this, but again, you press select here and assign. Make sure it's on the same material here, because I want to make sure that it applies to everything. I mean, you can go back into object object node here as well. My apologies, I'm still sick. But if you notice here, this does not have a normal map, but I actually went into Photoshop and I made my own here. So if you just go up here, you can see that I made mine here. Now, if you want to actually make your own or mix, you can do that. I actually did a lot of this information about normal maps as well in the animation series, so you should already be familiar with this process. But if you aren't and say you would like to mix things together, let's say you want to take both of these maps, you can go, say, here, vector, all right, and second here, we can go to color, and we can type mix and add. Now, you could just type add, and if you type add, you'll see a bunch of things come up, and sometimes it can be easy to be like, oh, I press add, and it'll come up with this. You could just delete it, no problem. So just go to add, and then you'll go to here and mix, because what you want to do is you just want to mix these two together. So hold on just a moment here. So I'm going to unhook here, and I'm going to have this set as my A. I'm going to have this set as my B, and I'm going to go over here and just take that result, and that's going to mix these two together. Now, of course, you can change the factor accordingly. You can go from mix to color and kind of blend these two together. You can go to multiply, just whatever you want to do. It kind of just depends on your preference on kind of what you want to do. You can, of course, switch these around, see what happens, what you like the best. It really just depends on what you want to do. And I adjusted mine just a little bit. And then also you can kind of come down here. You want to check your roughness. Now, of course, you want to, again, I'm trying to make this where it's not all that, rough. Now, should you go, hey, wait a second, I actually want to, I could say, go over here and I want to look at my material. I want to see how strong it is in this light. And as a spot note, as a note, you want to have, if you have a spotlight like this, it has to be like a 5,000, as otherwise you just won't see it. Because if it's at like 100, you're just not going to see it very well, and it can sometimes get bugged out. So you can see here that the face is not, it's all lit up. So you can really see that contrast here on whether or not this is working. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this back up. I'm going to try 2500. That's still pretty decent. Anyway, so I'm going to click on this and I'm going to go back into edit mode. Now, I don't know about this newest version of Blender, but if you listened or watched my past tutorials, you'll know there's a bug that if you press the plus button and you're trying to copy material, it may decide to crash. If it does that, just reopen it, obviously. So I'm going to press plus, I'm going to press new material, and I'm going to do this for the coat thing going on here. I'm going to take the skin, I'm going to press copy material, I'm going to press paste, and hope that it doesn't crash. I didn't. That's good. Okay, so now I'm going here in the face mode, I'm pressing Control plus, and I'm pressing shift on these and shift on that and shift on this because this is the collarbone. Alright? So I'm selecting, this is me and my choosing to use a different kind of camera. This, and I'm going to assign this. Okay, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want to go here to my coat material, and then I want to change the roughness that's different from the skin. So I'm going to go back into object mode here, and then I can go, hey, the roughness is a little bit different here. Maybe, metallic or specular is different, and that way I can adjust anything that I want to do on here. And if you have any other maps, like you have metallic maps, if you've done anything of Substance Painter, or if you've done anything like that, you could just hook up these, mats here. and you should be good to go. For example, I can take the image texture here, and I took this and I turned into a black and white image, and I set this to non-color, so I made this into a black and white image. I'm going to go over here again to the vector, and I can plug this into the metallic, and then suddenly I have these, nice metallic, pieces on top of the clothing here. So we can do all kinds of adjustments with our textures. There's a lot of fun things that you can do if you want to. So now that I've made a few adjustments here, we can see, hey, that's, reflected here. So now, don't forget again to save, because I always forget to save. I'm terrible. So I'm going to go over here to the shading here with the hair. Now, I already did the shading for the hair, so this is already done. Now, the hair actually there is the same map as this, so I'm going to drag over my vector here. As you can tell here, this is the hair, so we're going to go over here, non-color, or non-color from normal. And then again, we're going to shrink over there, moving that over, and going to the UV map, and then we're going to normal here. I want to make sure this is image 3. Doesn't show up a whole lot, but it's very light. You can't really see it. And of course, if you always wanted to, you could make, your own kind of texture here that you could put that was a little more detailed. Doing these kind of textures isn't too hard. These textures are pretty simple, very easy to make. They're basically just a bunch of lines that you can go up and down. I used a black and white, and then I just blurred it a little. You're basically just, from the beginning, is making a bunch of gradients here, adding some noise and motion blur, and then you could just add some of this. It's a very simple process, doesn't take a lot of time to do that. I can just copy this material here to hair 2. And if I want to make sure that I preserve this UV map and everything, we can just UV map hair 2. And then I can go over here to shading, make sure I'm on hair 2. Go over here to UV map here, and then I go to UV map hair 2. Make sure this is plugged in. Oh. So now it has these stuck in there, okay? And then we're actually going to go from here into, sorry, I moved that over to edit mode. Go to UV editing, we're going to press A, and then we go to constraint to image bounce, so that way it'll stay in the box. And then we could just go S to scale here, and it's just going to scale this. That we aren't going outside the image bounds here. Alright, and then we just want to go into object mode here, and go assign. And we want to go over here, and we have UV map here too, as well, because I forgot about this, but we don't actually need the UV map unless, the normal map unless we are doing that. So we'll have it here unless we created a normal map. So I just created a normal map for that, and it's on UV map here too, so that we can have some slight normals here as well, so we can have, whatever texture that we want here. Now also, if you want to, just in general, if you wanted to use the other normal map, you could just go here to mapping, because this is went over here to be that UV map. But since the other normal map is from the other one, we would just go to vector, and then we would just plug in the original UV map. Not this one, sorry, the search, and then you put UV map here, and then you would just select the original UV map for the vector for that, and then it would put in the original UVs, and then you would just select the original UVs for that. So here I've selected that map, and so you can use that map, and you could even, again, you could combine it with that with the other map. Here I've just taken each one and I separated them. You can also do a thing where you can just add them. Right here I've combined them, and it gives kind of this overall look where you can change the values. You can just kind of plug these in. And notice again, I've changed the UV map for each one. I've changed the map for each one. This is this, this is that. So you can do a lot of fun things. You can also add a multiply node, and you can go here to add, you can do that, you can do divide, you can multiply, add. You can have all these different kind of effects that you would like to kind of do. If you just want to play around, have some fun, see what happens, and it's just enjoyable to have a little bit of fun. I went ahead and made a purple one, just for fun. I don't have to. I can always switch back over to the other hair. I just felt like doing this one for fun, for funsies. So now that we're over here back in Purple Land, the next thing we need to focus on is the face. So you can right click on the face, and this is a separate object from the rest of everything else. Now if you want to take the armature right now and send the face, it kind of gets in the way. You can press H to hide it temporarily. Again, just press Alt H to get rid of it. So now you can kind of see him kind of coming into style here. And now we just want to click on the face. We'll see here, this is his face and skin. This is his eye highlight. This is the face and mouth. Alright, so again, we're just going to go through here, and we're going to do the same thing that we did with the other materials. I'm going to hook this up here and make sure the alpha comes down here to alpha, and then now alpha clip and alpha hash. We'll make sure that's on alpha clip, as this is the best setting really for this. So now we have the, again, we had the UV over here, SRGB, you know, multiplied over here, and we have this for each of them. Oh, real quickly here, I do want to mention that the hair actually does have a highlight to it. So if you go back over here, and it is on image 4, so if you're cycling through and you want to say to yourself, okay, well, let's make sure that we got through each image, and this is image 4. So if I go over here back to shading, I can go Shift A again and the image texture, and I can go to, I can, you know, hold on a moment here. I was trying to avoid that, but you know. So you can go back over here, and you can actually go like this if you need to kind of help clean up your nodes. It's just a personal preference, and that way, you know, your noodles aren't getting put together like that. Oh, because I already have it, it's going to be the highlight is for the original UV map, so I'm going to connect it to this vector over here. And then we're going to connect the color to emission here. And you'll see, hey, there's a little bit of color highlight. Also, some textures you may go, hey, like here with texture 9, you could decide you don't want them. It's totally up to you. There are a lot of options you can go with. It really just depends on your own personal opinion. It may touch up the eyes here to make them so that they're a little more bright or shiny and stuff like that for the next tutorial. But that about covers it now for this particular tutorial. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.